All right, so we do gotta tell you guys everything that's going on. So I want to give you guys a little bit of context to what exactly is taking place. LeBron James is playing his first game in Cleveland tonight since he joined the Los Angeles Lakers this summer. All right, so just to tell you, set off that disclaimer, LeBron gave an interview to The Athletic right before this game, clearly knowing that this story would be released before the game, because LeBron James and his team likes to control narratives. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to control narratives. I'm just telling y'all what it is, all right? With that being said, LeBron gave this interview explaining why he decided, and these are quotes from LeBron, right? Why he decided to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers and why the Kyrie Irving trade was the beginning of the end. So with that context, I do want to tell you guys, for those who don't remember about a year and some change ago, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they fired their former general manager, David Griffin, all right? The relationship had ran its course. Remember, this is right after the Cavs had lost in a 5-game series to the Golden State Warriors. Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love just didn't have it. The Warriors, with the addition of Kevin Durant, KD was able to deliver his first championship, first finals MVP. Like LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers lost in 5 games, all right? Following that season, the summer hit. So the Cleveland Cavaliers owner, Dan Gilbert, he looks at, as general managers and people on his staff, he looks at them as disposable. Now, to be fair to Dan Gilbert, he does spend a lot of money on players. I can't call him cheap. He spends a lot of money, and when LeBron was around, he went deep into the luxury tax year after year after year. It's LeBron. You want to maximize your opportunities to win championships when you have him around. Now, in regards to his staff, like I said, general managers and company, he looks at front office positions as disposable. Either you take this low contract or I get rid of you. Well, former general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers, David Griffin, he wanted a raise, you know, and Mr. Gilbert was like, nah, we'll just go in a different direction. They parted ways with David Griffin. They hire a new Cavalier GM, Kobe Altman. Kobe Altman comes in. First day on the job, he gets a call from Kyrie Irving in his camp. Kyrie's on the phone. He's like, look, I don't want to play in Cleveland anymore. I don't want to play with LeBron James anymore. Now, I believe, now I don't know this is fact, but here's what I believe. I believe Kyrie Irving was talking to some other guys around the league in the NBA circles, and he found out that LeBron had plans on leaving Cleveland in a year when he was a free agent. And he ended up leaving Cleveland and going to LA. I believe word had got around that LeBron was leaving. And Kyrie was like, yo, y'all not about to let me be the last somebody here, because Kyrie has 2 years left on his deal at the time. So he would have had to stay in Cleveland. He'd still be in Cleveland this year, right, had they not traded him. And this would be his last season before he could be a free agent. Kyrie's like, yo, I don't want to, you're not going to let me be the last guy around. So remember the 4 teams that Kyrie gave the Cleveland Cavaliers as options. He was like, yo, you can trade me to New York, you can trade me to Brooklyn, you can trade me to Miami, you can trade me to Phoenix, and I'm going to add a 15. He said he'd be cool with going to San Antonio as well. So those were the 4 or 5 teams that Kyrie gave the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now Kobe Altman's like, well, yo, what do? I just got this job. I want to impress my owner, Dan Gilbert. What do I do? Like, do I keep Kyrie Irving? Do I trade him? This guy's saying he don't want to be here. I'm a rookie GM. I got a lot of weight on my shoulders right now. We're still a championship contending team. Kevin Love, do I trade him? Paul George on the market, so he gets to panicking. They call LeBron. Remember, Dan Gilbert, the owner, and LeBron, they don't talk. They talk through middlemen. They don't personally talk. LeBron does not have any communication with Dan Gilbert face to face. They don't talk to each other, right? He said he went back to Cleveland in spite of Dan Gilbert. So, all right, now you don't talk to Dan Gilbert, so this is Cavs GM Kobe Altman calling LeBron. Now, I'm going to summarize this. This is what LeBron told The Athletic in this story that came out a couple days ago. He said Kobe Altman told him on the phone, look, Kyrie wants to be traded. Here's what we're looking at. Here's the offers that we got. The best offer we got on the table is the Boston Celtics. They're giving us Isaiah Thomas right now. And we would trade Kyrie. We would get some picks, and we'll be able to keep a team together. Isaiah Thomas is coming off of a hip injury. He should be ready to go by January. Do you like this trade? LeBron said no. Don't trade Kyrie. And if you have to give in to Kyrie, don't trade him to Boston. We just beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're getting better. They got a young nucleus in Jaylen Brown. Remember, this is before Jason Tatum was drafted there, or before he was playing on the court. He was drafted right before that, right? So this is before Jason Tatum had played a game. He was like, yo, don't trade this guy to Boston. They got Al Horford. They got Jaylen Brown. They got a nice little team. They got a really good coach in Brad Stevens. Don't trade Kyrie to Boston for Isaiah Thomas. I'm not sure if this was more about LeBron not wanting Kyrie with Brad Stevens, or LeBron not wanting an injured Isaiah Thomas at the time, who was essentially washed goods. He's only played like 20 games since that injury. Since that summer, he still ain't playing right now, right? Like, he's still out with Denver. Matter of fact, he just had hip surgery. So LeBron's like, yo, don't trade him to Boston. I'm not saying don't trade him at all. I would like for you guys to bring him to training camp and let me deal with that. But if you gotta trade Kyrie, don't trade him to Boston. They traded him to Boston. As a matter of fact, according to this story, LeBron was doing an event and he was signing autographs at the time, and one of his closest friends and his bodyguard showed him the phone that was like, yo, the Celtics just traded, the Cavs just traded Kyrie to the Celtics. Now, mind you, LeBron said in his article that the GM said, you got my word, I will not trade Kyrie to Boston. Now LeBron feels like he's been stabbed in the back. Not only did you not honor his request and keep Kyrie on the Cavalier roster, you traded him to the one team LeBron didn't want him to be on, their Eastern Conference rival. LeBron is quoted in this article as saying, trading Kyrie to the Celtics was the beginning of the end for his stay in Cleveland. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't blame LeBron. I don't blame him one bit. LeBron believes he would have been able to get Kyrie Irving in the camp and to work it out. Now, Kyrie was threatening the Cavs with, again, Kyrie and LeBron not talking this summer. So Kyrie is telling the Cavs, if y'all don't trade me, I got a bad knee. I'm going to go get some surgery done on my knee. I got a bad, I'm going to go get some surgery done. I'm going to sit out pretty much all of last season. Here's my thing. Ironically, if Kyrie would have sat out most of the season, that still would have been better than what they got out of Isaiah Thomas, right? And they still would have beat Boston. Because, look, think about it. Isaiah Thomas wasn't healthy for the Celtics, so he would have been out. So LeBron pretty much would have played the Cavs team with what he had anyway. I know they got Rodney Hood and Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance at the deadline, but essentially, LeBron would have had to play Boston with, he pretty much beat Boston by himself anyway. So pretty much nothing would have changed. Isaiah didn't play for, he wouldn't have played for Boston anyway. He was hurt all of that season, a year ago. So think about it, right? Like, put it in that perspective. Kyrie wouldn't have been healthy for Cleveland, even though I think he was bluffing. I don't see that dude. That dude loves the game of basketball too much to sit out a whole season. I believe he probably would have went through the surgery and been ready to go around March, and then they would have been able to make another push for a championship. Probably would have lost to Golden State, but at least you have two of the top 15 players in the world giving it one last chance. Then LeBron would have dipped, right? I don't blame Kyrie for wanting out. I think the fool in this was the Cavs GM Kobe Altman. Why would you trade Kyrie Irving? Why? Because look up. If you would have not traded Kyrie, he was unhappy, but you still would have been able to have Kyrie Irving for this year. And you would have probably, then at that point you could draft a Colin Sexton. Because the Cavs are bad with Kyrie. Notoriously, they've been bad with just Kyrie. Kyrie can't win by himself. You still would have had a bad roster that would have been able to be in the lottery and go after a guy. So to me, the Cavs blew it. They blew it. And LeBron wanted that story in the atmosphere to let people know that that's the real behind this. The Cavs, once they traded Kyrie, to me, it was my excuse to get out of Cleveland, pretty much what LeBron said. He delivered the ring, and he obviously doesn't love Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert wanted his team back. All right, you want it back. Now you got it back. Your team's won 2 games. And likely tonight to get blown out by LeBron and the Lakers. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. They are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr. TALIAFERRO'S.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.